Kim Ng is officially the new general manager of the Miami Marlins, making her the first woman to ever hold this position in all of Major League Baseball. But who is she? How did she become baseball's top executive? And what does this mean for the future of the Miami Marlins? Nice to meet you, Team Steezy. My name is Eddie, and from here on out, I'm the baseball guy. Here are the top 10 things you need to know about Miami Marlins general manager Kim Ng. Number 10. Kim Ng actually has a playing background. She was a softball player in high school over in New Jersey, where she played for Ridgewood High School. Fantastic job over there. Landed her a gig playing infield for the University of Chicago Maroons. Over her 4-year career, she actually batted .234. Her best season was in 1989 when she batted .388 on the season. But if that's not enough for you, get this. According to many news sources, she actually grew up on the streets of New York City playing stickball with all the city kids. Is that not the most East Coast old-timey city kid thing you've ever heard? That's awesome. Number 9. And of course, Kim Ng is the first female general manager in all of Major League Baseball. When she was at the University of Chicago, her thesis was actually on Title IX, of all things. She's the first woman to present a salary arbitration case during an internship with the Chicago White Sox. We'll get into that a little bit later. She's also the highest ranking woman over all 30 Major League Baseball teams in both National League and the American League. Number 8. We're very excited about this one here at Team Steezy. Kim Ng is actually the very first Asian American general manager in all of Major League Baseball. An obscure fact about this channel, right now we're an all Asian American staff. We are so happy for her. This is awesome. Her father, her late father I should say, was born in the United States but is of Cantonese descent, while her mother was born in Thailand but is ethnically Chinese. Kim Ng herself was born in Indianapolis, but at a young age they moved her out to Queens, New York. Even though she lived in Queens, she was not a Mets fan. She actually grew up rooting for the Yankees. Both her parents worked in finance. Number 7. Her professional career began with the Chicago White Sox. Following her time at the University of Chicago, she actually got an internship at the White Sox as a research assistant. She was hired on full-time in the early 90s, and she actually became the youngest woman to ever work a salary arbitration case. We mentioned it a little bit earlier. This was the case for Alex Fernandez, and she won on her first go. And for the remainder of her time in Chicago, she worked as the assistant director of baseball operations for the White Sox. Number 6. Kim Ng was the assistant general manager for the New York Yankees during the three-peat. I know all you Yankees fans just sat up in your chair when I said that. I'm talking about 1998, 1999, and 2000. And also 2001. This was like, imagine the Yankees right at the end of the millennium and how good they were. A lot of that was her pulling the strings. They also won the American League pennant in 2001. You can understand why I might not want to talk about that specific pennant race. But the New York Yankees would go on to lose the World Series to Arizona that year. This means that Kim Ng technically is a 3-time World Series champion, believe it or not. This gal's more World Series championships than Ken Griffey Jr. Number 5. Kim Ng was so close to actually getting the general manager job all the way back in 2005. After the current general manager of the Dodgers was fired in 2005, the assistant general manager, Kim Ng, was a shoo-in for this job. It was very public. It was all over the news. Chances were she was going to become the first woman general manager in the National League and the American League in both. She interviewed with the team owner and actually ended up losing the job. After the then general manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers was fired, all eyes looked right at her. In 2005, the team president mentioned her by name, that he had interviewed her, and everyone thought she was going to get it. She actually ended up not getting it. They ended up going with Ned Coletti instead. Number 4. Kim Ng was almost the general manager of the Seattle Mariners. All the way back in 2008, they had a vacancy. She came in and interviewed for it. And similar to the situation with the Dodgers, a lot of people said that she was definitely a shoo-in for the job. They eventually would go with the special executive out of Milwaukee, but it's worth noting that one of the other candidates they passed up on was Jerry DiPoto. He would actually become the general manager of the Mariners many years later, and at the time of recording this video, still is. Number 3. Kim Ng actually worked on Major League Baseball's Diversity Advisory Council. It comes to no surprise that she was the victim of a lot of sexism and racism coming up through a sport once dominated by white dudes. A most notable incident came from during a group of executive meetings. A former player and at the time scout with the New York Mets actually spoke to her in an exaggerated Chinese accent. By the way, before we go any farther, it's worth noting that this guy was fired by the Mets. He would look for jobs for a couple of years and finally landed a scouting job with the Washington Nationals. And you know what job he got? They made him a scout for the Eastern Asian Seaboard. So they like put him on a boat and sent him off to Korea to go try to find the next Daeho Lee. That's so poetic. When I asked about the incident, which I find is very interesting, is that she said that it was not a matter of racism, that she actually viewed the hostility more as an issue of sexism. Number 2, Kim Ng has been Major League Baseball's Vice President of Baseball Operations since 2011, all the way up to, well, a week ago. After being turned down for a handful of general manager positions throughout different teams a decade ago, former colleague Joe Torre, who now is the special assistant to the commissioner, offered her a job within the league itself, and this made her the highest ranking woman in the commissioner's office in all of baseball, which actually goes to something I was going to say for the end of the video, is that she is overqualified for this position. If anyone was going to be the first general manager, female general manager, it was going to be Kim Ng. Number 1. The decision to hire Kim Ng was Derek Jeter's. Yeah, that Derek Jeter. When I was talking about the Yankees three-peat a little bit earlier, that guy. He's now the owner of the Miami Marlins. He calls the shots over in Miami. And what's interesting is that because she was with the team during those years, she actually was one of the people that worked the salary for Derek Jeter during all those years. Folks, and there you have it. That's the top 10 things you need to know about incoming Miami Marlins general manager Kim Ng. If you haven't already, do us a huge solid. Like and subscribe to this channel. We look forward to seeing you in the next one, folks, and I'm sure you'll see me sooner than later. Have a good night, guys.